Well, it's that time. What time is it?
Now it's time for Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
Brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. Don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. Let's get right on into it. It's about an hour and 40-minute meeting, roughly, of the Springfield City Council. The first Springfield City Council with Mayor Misty Buscher at the helm. And they had zoning where they dealt with a variety of different issues like, docks on lakes and also fencing around lake property and so on. But getting right into the rest of the meeting, of course, you've got the treasurer's report. Colleen Redpath-Fager, the new treasurer for the city of Springfield, providing that report for city aldermen yesterday during the Springfield City Council meeting.
For the month of April, for the corporate fund, the beginning balance is $67,387,204. We took in total receipts of $9,850,543. We had total disbursements in the month of April totaling $10,146,720. which left the corporate fund ending balance in the month of April at $67,056,027. The ending general fund balance includes $21,599,047, which is the April ending balance ARPA money. Thank you. That concludes my report.
So you're talking $60+ million in funds that the city has on hand, $20+ million of that being ARPA dollars. That's COVID relief money that they still have on hand. And there's a deadline for them to actually spend that money. Moving on, the new mayor, Misty Buscher, she wanted to make sure that everybody knew who the new directors were at City Hall.
That any new directors that are here would come up and introduce themselves to the council if they would, please.
And they did just that.
I'm interim purchasing agent Mike Lesko. I will get that OBM report to you this week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. James Sullivan, Information Systems Division Director.
Congratulations.
My name is Dave Fuchs. I'm the Director of Public Works.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ethan Posey. I'm the Director of Community Relations.
Congratulations.
Line is long.
Good evening, men and women. My name is Debbie Thompson. I'm the interim HR director, and I have a professional bio if you'd like to see it. This is being in HR for 40 years.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Mann, and I am the acting director of the Lincoln Library.
Good evening, everyone. Very first day, Haley Wilson, Director of Communications.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Hello, everybody. Mike Disco, Chief of Staff.
Good evening. Ramona Metzger, the Director of the Office of Budget Management.
And one holdover from the previous administration.
Doug Brown, City Light and Power.
And then change at Public Works with Nate Bottom going elsewhere.
Nate Bottom, Chief City Engineer.
All right.
Scott Dahl, Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau.
He's also from the previous administration.
Good evening. Ken Scarlett, Chief of Police.
Also from the previous administration.
Good evening. Greg Mordock, Corporation Counsel as of June 1st.
Hey, you Mordock boys did pretty good this week.
The Mordock family had a hell of a week.
It's been an interesting week for us, for sure.
I would particularly like to say welcome.
Ed Canning Fire Department.
Thank you all very, very much.
So there you go. Those are the new directors and the directors that are remaining on from the previous administration. But what about Lincoln Library? We heard the acting Lincoln Library director, but this week we got news that Summerbeck Griffith was let go. You've got more detail now from Mayor Misty Buscher about who's going to be leading that in the interim.
There will be an announcement going out tomorrow, and I had permission to share this tonight, so I'm going to share it. Our interim director of the public library, Curtis Mann, will be in that position until June 1st, and then we're going to have a interim, or I guess you're the acting director right now. Then we're going to have an interim director as of June 1st, Catherine Harris. And a lot of you know Catherine Harris, and I am honored to have her at Lincoln Library, just so you know. She will not come out of retirement permanently for me. It's very sad, but I'll get her for a little bit. So we will all be blessed to have her.
Anybody who knows Catherine Harris, she's fantastic, and that's going to be interesting to see the interim there and moving forward with a new direction under Mayor Misty Buscher for the Lincoln Public Library. So they get right into the ordinances after that, after all the introductions, and one of the ordinances deals with a liquor license for Save-A-Lot on Clear Lake, where they're looking for a liquor license. Alderman Williams has some questions about that.
Madam Chair, I just had to make a motion to discuss. I just have some questions.
Is that okay, Corporation Council Ron?
Second.
There would be a motion first, and then the discussion follows.
So,
Well, I would like to make a motion to approve this, but I do have questions before we
Second.
approve it.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Williams.
Is anyone from Save-A-Lot here? Well, then my question will go to corporate counsel. So I'm okay with this if it's the liquor aisle for the grocery store. I'm not okay with it if it's for the gaming that they're wanting. So I need to make sure that this class of license does not give them gaming, but just lets them have their liquor out.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so I recommend approval.
Okay, and we had a second from Alderman Donlin. Okay.
And they went ahead and approved that. So up next, we'll talk about an ordinance with $623,000 in a grant that the city's looking to get for Route 66 operations. With the big anniversary of Route 66 coming up, they want to make sure they got everything in place that they need to have in place to bring in that celebration here for Springfield. So stay tuned. We'll get to that coming up next here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. All right, back at it with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. And the Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Let's get back into the ordinances up for consideration. One deals with state grant dollars to the total of $623,000 for a Route 66 program going through Springfield. Here's how that played out last night at the Springfield City Council meeting.
To be used for funding three attraction projects on Route 66 and authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $623,000 for the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Now, Alderman Roy Williams Jr. had some questions we'll get to in a moment, but Alderman Sean Gregory also wanted to make sure that this grant money was used to include the Black experience on Route 66.
How have we articulated the Black journey along Route 66 within this grant? I recognize that, it's going to be spread out through 5 different towns, of course. And, part of that history is, 2 of those towns were sundown towns, and I want to ensure that here in Springfield, there's 2 of the last 22 places where African American or Black individuals could go on Route 66, and 2 of them still stand here in the 1500 and 1600 block of East Ash, as well as on 11th Street. I believe it's 103 it used to be. And
so Gregory wanting to make sure that the Black experience is included in these grant dollars with whatever presentation they're going to make. The city's tourism director, Scott Dahl, addressing some of those concerns.
These are Route 66 specific grants. This is the second round of these grants. You may recall in the first round, we funded the Route History Metaverse, the Black experience on Route 66. That will be done by June 30th of this year, and we'll be able to take them through that experience. For this second round, again, we need to stay on Route 66, and we need to stay on that main artery that we've identified in our master interpretive plan
Mr.
that we rolled
I'm
out.
not trying to direct you, but
Yeah.
I get that. And there was a portion of people that would love to stay on that route, but, at dark, they had to go somewhere else. So how does that story get told? And I'm well aware of the thing that we're doing at the fair, but wouldn't it be a great idea to mark one of those so people who come along that journey to see those things could, especially who look like me, could really go to what their actual experience was and see it since it is here. And that's more so what I'm articulating, that when we have these, it's very hard for me to vote and support these things, and then I look all whatever when we're not, thinking it with a broad brush, and thinking about everybody. So I just wanted to make those comments, and I appreciate you.
So
And these
Dahl
grants are very
continued
specific to Route 66, and that's the reason why. And again, we follow that interpretive plan. We try to use that main artery. I will tell you, though, Alderman, that I do believe that we can build those experiences, those black traveler experiences on 66 into the murals. So if they're not located if they're located just off 66 and we're unable to put a mural there, the murals that we do put on 66, we can incorporate some of those black experiences in there. And
So Dahl continues to discuss this a bit further with what the goals are of these grant dollars. Again, state grant dollars. And nothing's been set in stone as to where it's going to be spent on or what murals are going to look like or whatnot. It's just to confirm getting these dollars.
I hear you and I see you about telling that history across the tracks. We've had those discussions. We'll build those in there. But these specific grants have to stay on Route 66, and that's why we've chosen some of these locations and built in that regionality.
And new Springfield Alderman Larry Rockford addressed a corridor he says needs some love and attention.
Along 9th Street, the underpass right off of Converse Avenue. Any plans for signage there? I know I spoke with Nate Bottom back in February about maybe sprucing that up. It's an old, ugly, rust-colored, they painted some murals on the side of the viaduct there, on the wall, excuse me. But any plans for signage or welcome to Springfield? I mean, that is a main drag. That's, we need to get the road fixed, by the way, too.
Absolutely. No, and I'm all for that. Yeah,
but anyway, just to put a bug in your ear. But anyway.
So obviously, some desire to clean things up in certain corridors, and Dahl says, there's some things they can put on places and things they can't put on places, especially if you're talking about railroad infrastructure and whatnot, but that could change depending on who takes ownership of that ultimately. But there were other questions about this, not just with the grant dollars and how they're going to be used or where they're going to be used, but Alderman Williams had some questions about conflicts of interest, where there could be some entities getting these dollars that have connections to elected officials.
So then I just want to make sure, since we're going to vote on something and we don't know the addresses and we don't know the owner's names of each individual place, has that been vetted thoroughly to where we know that we're not violating any kind of ethical law or any kind of law in any type of form? Since we didn't want to do disclosure, as a council, we'll just do it this way. Each time these kind of projects that you bring, we have to look at where they're going to make sure that we don't.
And Williams is referencing disclosure that was an ordinance that was proposed by Williams and a few others that wanted to have more disclosures of elected officials and to possible conflicts of interest. Last week, if you remember, that was one of several tabled ordinances. They brought it up, and then you had a motion to table it, and the motion to table essentially saying we're not going to take this up, that had the majority. So the majority of the aldermen motioned to table, and that stuck. So they didn't have that particular issue. So Williams is essentially saying that he just wants more transparency in all of this.
Own property or a part of ownership or whatever, should we be doing this at that location is my question, to all the locations that you so far are looking at.
And then Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher, she chimes in, reiterating something that Tourism Director Scott Dahl had to say, that, listen, none of this is set in stone at this moment.
I believe that is what the director is saying tonight, that it's just trying to get the grant money from the state. The locations are not in place yet.
Correct.
Is that true?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I think your packet had examples and ideas. For instance, Alderman Gregory's suggestion of changing some of the format of what they look like as well would be considered, I would hope.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
So that moves forward, but you did have Alderwoman Conley make the point that, listen, alder people have to disclose a lot of things. All elected officials have to disclose a lot of things whenever they're running for office.
But if there's a question about property holdings that someone has on this council. That information is available from the county clerk's office. We all had to file it. It's a requirement of holding office.
Oh, I agree.
So I think instead of maybe asking a question every time we spend money, who owns this property, if your concern is if anyone around this council or any elected official, because we all file these, has a conflict of interest, I think certainly that information has been reported and disclosed to the county clerk in our economic disclosure statements.
So, again, that measure for the $630,000 in a tourism grant from the city from the state dollars only to the city to accept those state dollars, that did advance and was ultimately approved last night. All right, it is the Springfield City Council Roundup coming back. We'll get to new and unfinished business and a whole bunch of other things as well. Stay tuned. It's Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Now, 7:34 from Culver's West on Wabash. Let's check headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
All right, back with the Council Roundup, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. The Council Roundup brought to you each and every week by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, Head West Subs. So last night was the first Springfield City Council meeting with Mayor Misty Buscher, and you had last week the Committee of the Whole. While Misty Buscher was mayor then, it wasn't a full committee, so she wasn't at the helm. So you had last week a couple of instances where some aldermen had ordinances that they wanted to have considered. They were brought up, they were mentioned, but then they were quickly tabled. And I think there were 2 or 3 different ordinances, and that prompted Alderman Sean Gregory to essentially say that, if they're not going to have any options to move ordinances forward that they feel are necessary for their wards, then what are these wards, in particular 2 and 3, doing as part of the city council? So he made those statements, and after that made further statements to media. Well, he wanted to address some of those things last night at the city council during new and unfinished business. Here is Alderman Sean Gregory sharing some of his thoughts.
Alderman Gregory beat you to the punch.
He did. I pressed it twice.
That don't happen much, but that doesn't happen much, but that's divine intervention. Because what I have to say is important, and I say this to Mayor Buscher. I have to practice calling you that because I'm used to calling you Miss Misty for such a long time. So I will practice that and not do that. But
and he went on to talk about some of his comments from last week and his sentiments and what he's really trying to convey with that line of thinking.
But this community has been all the way back since the get-go has always been a fight, whether it was Frank or whether it was Gail or whether it was Herman and now me. This ward that will always fight. We Abraham Lincoln is the the man in this town, and he did the Emancipation Proclamation, and he also said that African Americans will forever be protected to fight for their freedom, to fight for the things that are just and right. So when I speak on that, please don't take it in such a manner, because when we're not addressing these things, I'm fine. We laugh, we joke, we all have fun, and things of that nature. And then when I feel strongly about something, I just feel strongly about something, just like all of you do, and all of you have an opinion. So I just wanted to say that. And to my sister in Ward 5, I do respect you. We fought for you to get here. We carried those opinions for you to get here. I do respect you. I don't act any type of different way from you or anybody else on this council when I don't like a decision that we have made. We've worked together before. We're going to continue to work together in the future. I thought I had just shown that when it was a time to make a point, but I didn't make that point. I did what was right, and Alderman Williams was mad at me. So it is what it is. I'm always going to just try to do the best that I think that I can do. I am passionate about some things, and I've been here for a while, and I think you guys know what I'll be passionate about. So thank you. I just wanted
So
to
it's Alderman Sean Gregory sharing some of his comments. He pointed to Alderwoman Purchase, who spoke after that, not necessarily directly to Alderman Gregory's points, but she did want to talk about some events downtown that were a big success.
Excellent weekend at the Fat Ass 5K. We raised over $100,000 for them to distribute out. And I also want to give a shout out to my colleagues, Alderman Hanauer and Alderman Donnellan, and their wives came out, and of course, Madam Mayor Busher and her husband. It was really nice, and we have coming up that I would like to invite everyone and my colleagues out again. This Saturday is the Farmers Market ribbon cutting, and that's at 9 a.m. at 4th and Adams. Following that, 1 hour later, you don't even have to get in your car. Just walk right on over to the Old Capitol, in front of the Old State Capitol. We have the Old Art Capitol ribbon cutting, and then following that, just come right on back over to the Y Block, and we have the ribbon cutting for Pride Fest. So please come out. There's a lot going on, a lot of activity, and we had 3,000 participants this Saturday. Downtown was packed. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming out and participating, and the organization did a very good job. Reach out to them because, as you just said, Alderman Gregory, they give money to non-for-profits, but I want to try to help since I'm an African-American female for downtown and you're over on the east side. Let's bring everybody together. Ward 5 is the centrally located area where there's a lot of activity going on, so I want everyone to feel welcome.
So Alderwoman Purchase celebrating events downtown, obviously with the weather nice, a lot of activities downtown and a lot of things to do downtown. But part of new and unfinished business, more statements from Alder people, including Roy Williams Jr., who shared some of his thoughts about a different ordinance he was looking to get passed dealing with absentee landlords that ultimately was tabled last week, if you recall. Here's Alderman Williams.
That when I sponsor an ordinance, I know what I'm thinking. I don't know who the media is telling me, well, you were trying to punish Busher sponsors. That's not true, Mayor. I want you to know that because I don't even really know all your sponsors. I know people who voted for you, but I don't know who sponsored you per se. Secondly, I was just truly trying to get to my landlords that don't show up. I truly need those lots taken care of. I truly need that grass cut. I need all these things done. And I'm not scared of a debate. And that's all I was trying to do was get to debate. I can live with being tabled, but we should do the right thing as a council. We should be disclosing. We should be after these bad landlords. Has nothing to do with you. I wanted you to know. Yet they said, oh, well, that's what he was trying to do, so we wanted to have a new. I don't feel like we really went a new. They said he went politics. I feel like that brought the politics in, doing it 3 times table, 3 very good ordinances. When you look at them on their face, they got a packet. Just same way I dug into my questions today, I dig into all of it.
So, again, Roy Williams Jr. Wanting to share his thoughts about one of the ordinances he proposed not advancing. But the mayor, she wanted to make sure that, hey, she's only been in office for a handful of days. And when dealing with code enforcement, she wants to be able to, in a way, spread her wings and actually do the code enforcement as the new administration. Here's Mayor Misty Busher reacting to Alderman Williams' concerns.
I do want to ask if, as the new mayor, I'm 8 days in, that you would allow me the opportunity and my new public works director to enforce the code of ordinances that's in place now for problem properties, because he and I have never had that opportunity. My predecessor had the opportunity for 8 years, and I hear your frustration, but I would like to have the opportunity to enforce it myself.
So she's been in office for 8 days. Let her get her, bearings as to how to enforce code to make sure landlords are held accountable, while her predecessor had 8 years, she says. So Williams provides reaction.
I'm telling you right now, we have some problems with landlord issues, and I am going to bring ordinances to try to fix it.
Okay, and I'm asking Director Dave to get with you after the meeting, if you don't mind, the Public Works Director.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay.
So that's your council roundup from last night. Springfield City Council meeting here on WMAY. Brought to you each and every weekday by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. Each and every week, check it out. The Council Roundup, a review of Springfield City Council happenings. All right, got to take a break. It is Springfield's Morning News.